Hello all and welcome to Crochet Designs. My name is Mary and in today's tutorial we are working on this gorgeous little doily. How gorgeous is this? Now this is one of my own creations from say here to about here. It's all very basic, okay? The next 5 rows can be a little bit tricky, but even as a newbie you can attempt this pattern. So if you are new to crochet, try it. Take the risk. What can happen? All right, regulars, you will find this fun. Intermediates, you'll find it okay. Experts, you'll fly through this so quickly. All right, for me, I was a little bit slow because, you know, for those of you who know me well, I'm a little bit under the weather and I have been for a couple of weeks now, so bear with me. All right, now the only difficult part of the pattern, and I won't call it difficult, I'll just say that you need to focus on your stitch count, and that is the last 2 rows, okay? But everything else is relatively easy, all right? Now, this particular cotton that I used here is a Milford satin, let me get a nice close-up for you, a Milford satin 2-ply, it's pearl, and it's number 5. I'm assuming that's the name of the color, I'm assuming. But it's a 2-ply, so it's really, really thin. It's a 0 overseas, if you will. Very, very lightweight. Okay, so we're not going to make it in the lightweight today. I'm going to use an 8-ply cotton. And as you know, for you, those of you who are new, who don't know me well, red is my favorite color. So I figure if I make it in an 8-ply cotton, I can actually use it around the house. But don't tell anyone. Shh. Our secret. Okay, so in the meantime, I will let you know that for this particular thread here, I used a 2.5mm hook. Okay, really important to use the right size millimeter hook to get the right size of the doily that we made. Okay, now if you're going to do the 8-ply cotton like I'm going to do, that's going to be huge. If you're going to do a 4-ply, it'll be a little bit, you know, smaller or a little bit bigger than that, but not as big as the 8-ply. But if you're going to use this particular cotton, we'll talk about measurements throughout the tutorial as well. So just be wary of what you use if you are looking for a certain measurement, okay? Now, in the meantime, for today's tutorial, I'll just move that out the way for now. We're using an 8-ply, which is a number 3 overseas or a DK weight, if that helps. I'll be using a 4mm hook, yes. I will be using scissors. You need stitch markers. You will need a sewing or darning needle, weaving needle. I have a funny feeling this one here is not the right one because it looks like it's a little blunt for cotton. Now, if you're using a blunt needle on a cotton, sometimes it struggles to get through, but we'll find out during the tutorial, won't we? All right, so there you go. We are making it in the red. We are making this gorgeous doily. I won't keep you waiting anymore. Good luck making your gorgeous doily. Alrighty guys, we're going to start off with a magic ring or a magic circle or a magic loop. That's 3 fingers, grabbing your tail end in front, grabbing your working end, wrapping it around your fingers like so. So you're forming a little X. Alright, let's just bring that up. Get your hook, pop it under your first loop, grab that back loop, pulling it up and through. And what you should have is like that. So you grab your fingers there, grabbing everything there, all right? Don't let go like I just did. You are going to start off by chaining 3, and a chain is yarn over your hook, pull a loop through once, and twice, and 3 times. Just give that little tail a little tiny tug so it closes a little bit, not too much. You're going to work 11 double crochets in there, because these chains will act as your 12th one, okay? So yarn over your hook, pop it in that loop right there, pull a loop through. You should have 3 loops on your hook, yes, 3 loops, 1, 2, 3, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the last 2. I might get a little bit of a close-up for you. Here we go. You can see what we're doing. We're going to do it again. So that's the first double crochet, and now we're doing yarn over your hook, pop it in your center, pull a loop through, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the last 2. So we have your 2 double crochets and your chain 3. So altogether that will be 3 double crochets. We're going to do another one, which is 4. And another one, which is 5, 6, and 7. Whoops, 7. Now if you're finding that loop is getting really big, close it up a little bit. Close it up just a little bit. Just give it a tug. And 8. 9, 10, 11, and 12. Now, I know we just counted all this together. Pop your little tail end at the back there. But before we close up, we're going to count it again, because if this count is wrong, your whole piece will be wrong, okay? By the way, you're counting these little V's. See these V's right here? So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then you've got your chain 3 here, the top of your chain 3 right there. I should have put a stitch marker, but it doesn't matter for this round. All right, now before you pull any loops, actually you could actually pull the loops now. That's going to work. Grab that little tail end and just give it a tug, and it closes up your center. Now don't stress, we are going to weave that yarn, that thread in as well. Don't cut it. If you cut that, it will come undone in the wash. Seriously, they need to be weaved in, these magic rings, okay? All right, so here's where our first double crochet was there, and these are chain 3. The very, very top 3 loops you see here, 1, 2, and 1 underneath, you need to put it through the first loop and that little back loop. So it's a front loop and a back loop. So pop your hook in that stitch right there. Probably should have put a stitch marker for you, and I will in this round. And just pull a loop through and pull it through to the loop on your hook, and you have closed your circle. So now you're going to 1, 2, and 3, and this time we're going to put that stitch marker in so that we know where it is at the end of the round. So that's the first loop and that back loop right there, and there's 1 underneath. All right. Oh, by the way, if you are new to the channel and not sure about our lives, they are 4 p.m. on Wednesday afternoon and 10 a.m. Saturday mornings every week, and that's Melbourne, Australia time. All right, now in that same stitch, you're going to pop a double crochet, okay? So it's right, let's see if I can split that there so you can see the space. See that? You're going straight back into the same stitch that you are in, and you are going to do a double crochet, normal double crochet, like so. So in other words, you literally have 2 double crochets in that stitch, okay? Now in the very next stitch, now that's right here, a lot of people miss that stitch. Be wary, there is a stitch right there. You are popping 2 double crochets, 1 and 2. Guess what? That's all you're doing in this round. Going to every stitch you see, and that's these little spaces you see. If you're not sure, just give your work a bit of a stretch and you'll find that space right there. 2, oops, in every stitch. So 2 in every stitch, and off you go. And because we had 12, by the end of this round, you should have 24 stitches. Okay, so we'll count that at the end of the round. So just keep going. Oh, it's too close now, sorry guys. Just keep going all the way through with your 2 double crochets. Okay. So the yarn we are using today is a Bendigo Woollen Mills yarn. Okay, it is an 8 ply, which is a number 3 or a DK weight overseas. Okay, beautiful, beautiful. We're nearly there. I'm getting sing-songy again. Sorry, guys. All right, so here we are getting to the end of the row, okay? And we have one more stitch right there. So we need to put 2 double crochets in that last stitch, 1 and 2. Before we close up, we're going to do exactly the same as we did before. We're going to count our stitches. I find it easier just to count the 2 that I did. So I go 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, and 24. So there you go. In the next round, you'll have to count separately, but this round here, I found it easier because there was 2 in each to count 24. Okay, now, we are going to slip stitch right in that stitch marker, stitch. So where you put your stitch marker, in the tight stitch. Let me take that out. Try not to make that 3rd stitch very tight, guys, like yours truly. Just pull the loop through and pull it through to the loop on your hook. Chain 1, 2, and 3. Hold it there. We're going to pop our stitch marker in. I didn't do this one too tight this time, hopefully. Hopefully. This is where we're slip stitching at the end of the round. For this round, however, you're going to chain another 3. 1, 2, and 3. And from here, you are going to skip that very first double crochet, which is that one right there, and go into your 2nd double crochet. So yarn over your hook and do a double crochet, not in that first double crochet, but in the 2nd one, right there. Okay, now chain 1, 2, and 3. You're going to skip 1 and you're going to go into your next one. And guess what, guys? 1, 2, and 3, that's the pattern. Skip 1, go into your next. That's the pattern for this round. 1, 2, 3, and off we go. Skip 1, jump into your next. All right, just going to pop this on fast for you. 1, 2, and 3, and meet you at the end of this round. Okay, now we're getting close to the end of this round. 1, 2, and 3. All right, and what you should have left is 1 double crochet. If you don't have 1 double crochet left, then you have gone wrong somewhere along the round, okay? But in the meantime, for those of you who are up to this stage, you need to slip stitch straight into the top of that stitch where your stitch marker is. Take it out. All right. Pull a loop through and pull it through to the loop on your hook. And I'm just going to chain 1 to pull up a loop. You don't need to do that, just hold it there, because we're going to count these little double crochets that we've got. What you should have is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 3 chains in between each of those 12. All right, remember, count is really important for the end of your pattern. Okay, so let me bring that up a bit more. I already chained 1. Okay, so I'm chaining 2 and 3. So chain your 3. All right, now before you continue, just grab your stitch marker and pop it in there. We're feeling this one here is going to be a little tighter. Shh, don't tell anyone. Okay, and inside this center right here, over your chains, you're going to pop 3 double crochets. So right around these chains. So yarn over your hook, right over the chains, pull a loop through, 1, 2, 3, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through another 2. You're going to do it again. Your 2nd one. And again, your 3rd one. All right, and now, see your double crochet here? You're going to pop a double crochet in that stitch. If you give it a tug, you can see that little gap there. You're going to pop your double crochet in the stitch, like that. Okay, 3 in the center, 1 in a stitch, 3 in the center, 1 in a stitch, all the way around. So 1, 2, and 3, and 1 in your stitch. Super duper easy this round, yes. 3 in your center, 2, 3, and 1 in your stitch. All right, I'm not going to let you sit here and watch me do that. I would like for you, my yarn's tugging everywhere. I would like for you to do 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1 all the way, get to your last space and wait for me there. Alrighty guys, here we are at the end of the round. I have my last 3 double crochets to pop in that center. So 1, 2, and 3. And from here we are going to slip stitch into the top of that chain there. Well, it's not too bad. I thought it was tight. Not too bad. Whoops, I forgot to take the stitch marker out. Sorry about that. Take the stitch marker out, guys. All right. Now, with this particular round, we're going to chain up our 3 like normal. 1, 2, and 3. Pop your stitch marker in there like normal. Okay. From here, we're going to do something similar to this one, but a lot bigger. So it's chain 4 more now. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we are going to skip 3 double crochets and pop a double crochet in the 4th. Now remember that is a double crochet there, right there, is 1, 2, 3, and you're going to put a double crochet in the 4th. And if you're not sure where that is, just look directly underneath that row and you'll see your other double crochet down there. All right, it's directly above it, okay? But just be wary, still count, yeah? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, also guys, I did forget to mention, that's 48 double crochets in the round, by the way. Sorry about that, I should have mentioned it before. Okay, now we're skipping, you've chained your 4, we're skipping 1, 2, 3, pop into your 4th with a double crochet. A little bit fiddly, but you know, it's okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, pop into your 4th with a double crochet. Let's try that again. Hello. I want to work for me today. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, pop into your 4th with a double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, pop into the 4th with a double crochet. Now this is another way you can tell whether you've messed up in the row below. Just check where your double crochets are landing, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, pop into the 4th with a double crochet. All right, so continue that in the round. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to pop this on fast for you. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can just meet me there in a moment. All right, that's the 4th one right there, which is my last one. I have chained 1, 2, 3, 4 to go, and I've got 1, 2, 3 double crochets left, and the 4th one is filled up with our chains right there. So all you need to do, and I think I've split that one right there, I have split it. I'm going to take my stitch marker out. You keep yours in. I didn't want to put it in there while I split it. I don't know how I managed that. That's interesting, yeah. All right, so now I'm just going to grab the 2 loops and we're going to slip stitch in there like so. All right, pull that loop through and pull it through to the loop on your hook. So you're only slip stitching that stitch. All right, so that's easy. Now obviously you should have that. It's a little bit pulling up, don't stress, that's going to sort itself out with this round. Okay, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 double crochets, and you know the sets of chains. 12 sets of chains, of 4 chains. All right, here we go. From here, we are going to chain up 3. Again, 1, 2, and 3. popping your stitch marker in there. Okay. And this is an easy round. Once again, you are going to pop in 5 double crochets in this space. So yarn over your hook and away you go, doing 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, you've done your chain 3. That'll act as a double crochet in that stitch. You've got your 5 double crochets. Then you're going to put 1 double crochet on top of your next stitch, like that, and 5 in the center. 1, try that again, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you guessed it, 1 on top of the double crochet. So simple again. All right, 5 in your next. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and 1 on top of your stitch. Exactly that, all the way through. You can't go wrong. All right, so what I would like for you to do is 5 in the center, 1 on your stitch, 5 in the center, 1 on your stitch, 5, 1, 5, 1, all the way. Get to your very last double crochet here, do your last double crochet and wait for me there. Alrighty guys, here we are at the end of the row. I've done my last 5 double crochets in that center, 1 on top of the double crochet, and now I'm going to do my last 5 double crochets in this center. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now ordinarily you would put a double crochet on the next one, but you've got your chains there, so all you're going to do is slip stitch into the top of that chain. Best take that out for now. Pull the loop through. Pull up a loop for 1 second. You don't have to, I will. Okay. You can see it's almost started to flatten it out, still lifting a little bit. Okay, that's normal. Okay. And in this round and the next round, we're going to make that more wider and spacier, if that makes any sense. So you've got your chain 1 there, 2 and 3. Oh, that's too loose. You want it loose, but not that loose. Now we are chaining 1 and 2. All right, normally we would go into that very first double crochet with a double crochet, okay? We're going to skip that one and we're going to go straight into the second. So yarn over your hook, skip the first one, go into the second with a double crochet. Okay, this is a very easy round. Are you ready? Chain 1 and 2. Skip 1, jump into your second with a double crochet. That's it. Chain 1, 2, skip 1, second with a double crochet. 1, 2, skip 1, double crochet in your next. Super duper easy 1, 2. This round is, okay? Very easy. All right. I don't think I need to show you anymore. I think you know what you're doing. You are doing chain 2, skip 1, go into the next with a double crochet. Chain 2, skip, double crochet. Chain 2, skip, double crochet, over and over and over again until you get to your last 3 stitches, and I shall meet you up. Alrighty guys, here I am at the end of the row, have my last 1, 2, 3 stitches left. So I've chained my 2 and I'm going to do a 1, 2, just a double crochet in that second one. Okay, now chaining 1 and 2. Now we've got 1 left and this chain 3 will act as a double crochet. So we're going to slip stitch into our chain 3 like so. Oh, I keep forgetting to take that stitch marker out. I'm such a duffer, aren't I? There you go. All right. So there we go. So notice how it's sort of flattened out a little bit now. Kind of flattened out a bit. All right. Beautiful. Easy so far. This round, also easy. Okay. But the first part of this round, we are going to slip stitch into this space. So we're going to change our pattern a little bit. Let's do that a bit closer, you can see. You're just going to grab your hook, pop it in the space, pull a loop through, and pull it through to the loop on your hook. Then you're going to chain 3 like normal. 1, 2, and 3. Grab that stitch marker again. Pop it in. And away you go. In the same space, we are putting 2 double crochets. 1 and 2. And now you're ready for the pattern. This is it. 3 double crochets in that space, the next space. So 1, 2, and 3. And just keep going. 3 into the next. Such an easy pattern, this one. Well, this row is 3, and then 3 into your next space. That is all you're doing in this round. Go for it. All right. So I'm going to let you head off on your own, putting 3 double crochets in every space you come to. Get to the very last space, and I shall meet you up. Alrighty guys, here we are at the end of the round. Notice how it's all settling now? Yes? So we're at the end of the round, and we need to do our last 3 double crochets in that space there. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and before we slip stitch to join, you should have 120 double crochets in this round. Okay, in the meantime, we're going to slip stitch. Take that out, Lexel. Pull that loop through and pull it through to the loop on your hook. Okay, and now we're going to chain up 3. 1, 2, and 3. We're not going to pop the slip stitch here. We're going to pop it into the next stitch in this round only, because these 3 double crochets here should be double crocheted together to be 1. But because we've got chains, we're going to do it this way. So yarn over your hook, go into that stitch, and you're going to start your double crochet. Pop your hook in, pull a loop through like normal, 3 loops on your hook like normal, yarn over, pull through 2 like normal. Hold it there, yarn over your hook, into the very next stitch. Pull a loop through. You should now have 1, 2, 3, 4 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through 2, 3 loops, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on your hook. And this is where I want you to pop your stitch marker. All right, in that top of that stitch right there, okay, which is the closing stitch that we did for all these 2 double crochets. From here, we are going to chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. Yarn over your hook. In your next cluster of 3, you're going to do the same thing you've done here, but you're going to do 3 double crochets together and not just a 2, because we had the chains there, yeah? So yarn over your hook, pop it in that first. Now remember, this is where you are already in. You don't want to go in there. You want to go into the next stitch, okay, which is the first stitch from those 3, okay? So yarn over your hook, in that first stitch, pull a loop through, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, hold it there. Yarn over your hook, jump into your next stitch. Pull up a loop like normal. 1, 2, 3, 4 loops, yarn over, pull through 2. And now there's 3 loops. You've got 1 more to do. Yarn over your hook, pop it in your third, pull up a loop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yarn over, pull through 2. 4 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 4 loops on your hook. okay, and you've done double crochet 3 together. Chain 1, 2, 3, and you're going to do exactly the same in the next set of 3, okay. Now that is already in that stitch there, so you're working on 1, 2, 3 stitches. Okay, so you're skipping that one because it's got something in there already. You're going right into the very next one with a double crochet, start it, right into your next double crochet, start it, 4 loops, yarn over, pull through 2, hold it there, yarn over, into your third, pull it through 2, and you should have 1, 2, 3, 4. Yarn over, pull through all 4 loops. Okay, chain 1, 2, and 3. All right, so now that's all you're doing in this round. You are putting the 3 and the 3 and the 3 in a cluster set, and then you're chaining 3. Just remember 3, 3, 3. You can't go wrong. So you're not going into that stitch that we're already in. You're going into the very next stitch. Hold it there, yarn over. The second stitch, pull through 2, hold it there, yarn over. Your last stitch, pull through 2. You've got 4 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 4 loops, chain 1, 2, and 3. All right, so just continue in that manner. Take your time. If you're not sure about this stitch, just rewatch this section over and over again until you get to your very last 3 double crochets, and I shall meet you up. Alrighty guys, here we are at the end of the row. I've chained my 3. We're going to do our let's get a nice close up here for you. We're going to do our very last cluster set there, and that is 1, 2 together, 3 together. Okay, and 1, 2, and 3 before we slip stitch. So now we're just going to pop our hook into that stitch where we had our stitch marker in, like so. Pull the loop through and pull it through to the loop on your hook. Chain 1, 2, and 3. Okay, in that same space you're putting, wait a minute, first we're going to put the stitch marker back in. Oh, wake up Mary, too early in the morning for me. Here we go, stitch marker back in, and now we are going to put 2 double crochets in the same space. So 1 and 2. You're going to love this row too. Okay, chain 1. And see that little space in there? That is our next stitch that we are working in. And then there's another one right there. So you've got to be careful when you get it, okay? So we'll start with this one here. You can actually pull everything out the way, and you should have just 2 loops there and 1 loop on the bottom, okay? So what you're doing is putting 3 double crochets into that space. 1, 2, and 3. Chain 1. That's it for the round. That's all you're doing. So you're moving everything out the way. See how that's pulling there? And it's a bit of a thread pull. So you just pull that down, make your little space, yarn over your hook, pop your hook in. Oops, and I still split it. Pop your hook in and do your 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Chain 1. Okay, and that's it. Jump right into that very next space, separating your work there, popping your hook in with your 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Chain 1. All right, pretty sure you're getting that picture, but there you go. So it's 3 double crochets in that unusual looking stitch, chain 1, 3 double crochets, 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 chain 1, and so on and so on and so on. So now when you look at this work, you can see kind of a little bit of a bow, maybe a little bit of a wave happening. Don't stress, that will close up once we start doing the next 2 rounds. All right, so continue in that manner all the way around and get to your very last cluster set, and I shall meet you up. Alrighty guys, here we are at the end of the round. Let's get a nice close-up for you all. Alright, I've chained my 1. I'm going to do that very last cluster set in there. Well, that's a cluster set. That's what I call them, a cluster set of 3 double crochets. Not necessary for you to call them that, that's just what I call them. Alright, and now we're chaining 1, and we are going to slip stitch right in the top of that chain that we've been doing all along. And there you go, take that stitch marker out, and you are slip stitching to join. And there you go. Chain 1, 2, and 3. Pop your stitch marker in, like so. Alright. Okay, now this round here, whoops, I just lost my hook out of the thing there. This round here, a very, very important round. Okay, for 2 reasons. 1, if the count is not right in this round, your next round will not work. Okay, so you need to be focused and make sure that you get every stitch. All right, so, and every stitch means this chain 3 here will act as a double crochet already. Yarn over your hook. You're going to put a double crochet in your very next stitch, which is the second one. 1 in your next, which is the third one. And 1 in the chain space, which is the 4th double crochet. All right, you're going to do that all the way across. 1 in your first double crochet. Whoops, get it right, Mary. 1 in your second double crochet. And 1 in your third double crochet. 1 in your space. It is a basic row, but you must remember to keep that count. So all you're remembering to do is, oops, just lost my thread there, sorry guys. 1, 2, 3, and 4, 1 in the space. All right, so they're all basic rounds, they really are, but they are about count. So you are doing 1, 2, 3, and 1 in the space makes 4. 1, 2, 3, 1 in the space makes 4. That's all you need to remember. 3 across, 1 in the space, 3 across, 1 in the space, and they're double crochets all in the round. Get to this very last 3 double crochets and I shall meet you there. Alrighty guys, here we are at the end of the row. I've popped a double crochet in that space. I've got my last cluster set left, and I'm going to put 3 double crochets across. 1, 2, and 3. Now here we already have the chain 3 on top of that double crochet, but we still need to pop a double crochet in that center. So in that space right there, do your double crochet and slip stitch to join. Oops, that didn't work. I'm splitting the stitch all over the place. Hello. There we go. Pull the loop through and pull it through to the loop on your hook. Take that stitch marker out. Before you continue, really important, count your stitches in the round. Okay, you must have 144 stitches. Okay, otherwise this part of your work is not going to work. Okay, so let's get started with the next round. Very busy round, this one. Not tricky, you just have to remember where to put what stitch. Okay, so you're going to start off by chaining 1, and in the same stitch you're going to pop a single crochet. Single crochet is popping your hook in the same stitch, pull up the loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Grab your stitch marker. All right. From here you're going to skip 1. I'll show you the stitches where they are. The next stitch is right here, so you can see that little space there. So you skip 1 and 2, and in that third stitch, which is the one in the middle of the space there, you're going to put 7 half double crochets. That's yarn over your hook. Let me make some space so you can see what's going on. So where was I again? 1, 2, we're right into that one right there. So yarn over your hook, pop your hook in the space, pull up a loop. 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. And that is 1. Yarn over your hook, back in the stitch, pull a loop through, 3 loops, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops, 2. And again, 3. And 4. 5. 6. And 7. All right, so it should look a little bit overcrowded like that. Okay, from here you are going to skip 2. So that's that one right there, because you are actually in that stitch there. So you skip 1 and 2, you put a single crochet in that third one, 1 in the next, 2, and 1 in the next, 3. Skip 2, 1, 2, and in that third stitch right there, you're going to put in 4 double crochets. So pop your hook in and do 4 double crochets, 1, all in the same stitch, 2, 3, 4. Okay, on the 5th one, we are doing what we call a half treble. So it's yarn over your hook like normal, pop it in the stitch, pull a loop through like normal, and you've got your 3 loops. You're only going to do yarn over, pull through 1 loop for now. Yes, and now continue yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through another 2. So it's a tiny little bit taller than your double crochet, but not as tall as a treble. It's called a half treble. Okay, now you're going to put another 4 double crochets all in the same stitch. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, now we're going to skip 1, 2, single crochet in the next stitch, 1, 1 in the next, 2, 1 in the next, 3, and this is where your pattern's going to start. It's already started, okay, but because of that first stitch, we're not going to count it. We're going to count your pattern starting from now all the way across. Okay, now skip 1 and 2, and in that stitch right there, you're going to pop in 7 half double crochets again like we did in the beginning. So pop your hook in, pull a loop through, 3 loops, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, now you are skipping 1, 2, and you're doing 3 single crochets across, 1, 2, and 3, skipping 1, 2, and you are popping 4 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Remember your next stitch, which is your 5th stitch, it's a half treble. So you're doing a normal loop over in the stitch, pull a loop through. You've got your 3 loops, but now you are pulling a loop through just 1 first. Then you are going normal 2 and 2. And now you pop in another 4 more double crochets. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Skip 1 and 2 and single crochet 3 across. 1, 2 and 3, and that is your pattern. Okay, so from there, really actually from there to there is the pattern. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to do one more with you so you know what you're doing. We've done our 3 single crochets across, yes, we're in there, yes, skip 1, 2 and 7 half double crochets in here. 1, 2, too close, sorry, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Oops, skip 1, 2, 3 single crochets across. 1, 2, 3. Skip 1, 2, and in there you are doing your 4 double crochets. 1, 2, 3 and 4. And remember our half treble, you go through like normal, pop it through like normal, 1, 2, 3, and you pull it through 1 loop only first, then 2, and another 4 double crochets in there. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Skip 1 and 2, 3 single crochets across. 1, 2 and 3. Skip 1 and 2, 7 half doubles. All right, I think you're getting the picture. 2, keep going all the way across. Okay, get to the end of this row. You should get to the last 2 or 3 spaces there, and I will meet you up. Okay, good luck, guys. Alrighty, guys, this is where you should be at. It should be like a gentle lift on different areas. If it looks like this, then it's no good. If it's just a little lift, that's okay. That will close up in this round. Okay, now, well, the next round I should say. Now what you should have is all these cluster sets with your single crochets in between, yes, and you should have ended off with the last set of being 4 double crochets, your half treble and another 4 double crochets. Okay, all right, now what you should have left is your 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches. Now if you've got anything less, then there must be some sort of mistake somewhere, otherwise we should be okay. So you are skipping 1, 2 and you are popping your 1 single crochet, 2 single crochets, and normally you would have done a 3rd one, but that's there, all right, where your stitch marker is. So you are just going to slip stitch, get rid of that stitch marker for a second, slip stitch into that stitch marker, slip stitch into there and there. Okay, so from here, this is where we're in. Okay, normally we would work from this stitch, but we're not going to work from the stitch here. We're going to slip stitch right into that next stitch right there. Now that stitch is a part of your half double crochets. Okay, this is your last single crochet. We're not going to do anything in that stitch, okay? Even though it's your first, it's a bit confusing, you'll know what I mean later. You know when you do your 3 single crochets in a row and you've done your 3 here, that was your 2 and that was your last one, okay? So all you're doing is slip stitching straight into that first half double crochet, like so. Chain 1, just give it a bit of a tug. And in the same space, you are putting a single crochet, like so. Done. Now grab your stitch marker, pop it in your single crochet. Okay, now this is where in the round before, the round that we just did, oh, if I can get this thing closed. In the round that we just did, this is probably where we should have put stitch markers and I forgot. But that's okay because I can help you through this round, okay? So you're in your first half double crochet with one single crochet. We're going to be putting single crochets all the way across until we get to that very tallest stitch that we did, okay? Now I'll help you through this. So you've got one in your first half double, and there's a second one next to it in the next stitch, a third in your next stitch, and 4, 5, 6, and 7. That is your 7 half doubles. You've done your 7 singles on top of your 7 half doubles. Now you're going to skip that very first single crochet that you did, and you're going to jump straight into the second single crochet with a single crochet. Yes? Now you're going to skip the third single crochet and jump into your doubles with 1 single crochet, 2 single crochets, 3, 4, and there's your very top tall stitch. You're going to put a single crochet into that top one, and then you're going to chain 1, 2, 3, put a single crochet back into the top one, and then you're going to go down. Single crochet 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now you come to your 3 single crochets. You're going to skip the first one, you're going to jump into your second one with a single crochet, skip that one, jump into your first half double with a single crochet. So we are starting from there, we are starting again. So single crochet, this is where I want you to start counting from. All right, single crochet 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Skip 1, single crochet 1. Skip 1, single crochet 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And in that very, very tall stitch, we're going to do that single crochet, chain 1, 2, and 3, and single crochet. All right, and once again, single crochet 4 down. 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, so what I'm going to do from our single crochets here, this was our trick. Let me show you what we've done first, okay? This is what you've done. You've done your half doubles across, you've done your little peak one, but not a picot, it's just a little peak. Then you've done your half doubles again, and you've done a little peak again. From the end of this peak right here, we are now officially down the bottom of that peak. All right, now here are your 3 single crochets. This is where I want you to repeat the pattern, okay? So you're skipping your first single crochet and you're jumping into your second single crochet. Skip your third. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Skip 1, jump into your second, skip the third, jump into your first double crochet and count 4 up. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And into your half treble, you are putting a single crochet, chain 1, 2, 3, and a single crochet all in that 5th stitch, and then single crochet 4 down. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Skipping your first single crochet, jumping into your second. And away you go, repeating the pattern. Skip your third, jump into your first half double crochet and do 7 single crochets up. 1, 2, and so on. All right, so what I want you to do is just repeat that in the round, and you can already start to see this is where the rest of it is, but you can already start to see by putting this round here, it's tightened up our work. So you're starting to see that look, which means, yes guys, this is your last round. Get excited. So this is what I want you to do. Go all the way around, get to your very last cluster set. That's the very, very largest set before your stitch marker. Get to the very top stitch where we do the single crochet, chain 3 and single crochet. Perform that stitch and wait for me there, and I'll show you what to do for the rest. All right, go ahead and finish off that round, and I'll meet you there in just a moment. Alrighty guys, here we go at the end of this row, and we should say the end of the last row. Get excited. Alright, what I asked you to do was to get to that middle stitch where we had to do the single crochet, chain 3 and single crochet in, which was the half treble stitch, yes. And now that, if you haven't done that, complete that now. And now that that peak is done, all you're doing is going down 1, 2, 3 and 4, and you're still going to go ahead, skip the first one, pop a single crochet in your second one there. All right, so now from here we're going to slip stitch into the stitch marker because your third one is already here. It's this one right here, and remember we slip stitched into the half double. But before we slip stitch, we're going to do a different join. Now I've done this before many times before, and I'm going to do it again and hope for the best. Pull that loop up like that. Before you do this part, check your work and make sure that everything is correct, that all your peaks are done, yes, and everything is perfect and it all adds up. Grab your scissors. I know we haven't finished a stitch, we're going to give it a cut. Now notice I've left a long tail. It doesn't have to be extra long, but I did leave a long tail. So you just pull that tail through, grabbing your sewing, darning, weaving needle. To cut it a bit more, it was a bit split, that thread. There we go. And it's still, oh, here we go, that worked. It did split for me, how dare you. All right, so here we go. Normally what you would have done was you would have slip stitched into that stitch. We're not going to do that. We're going to pop our needle through the back of the stitch, pull it through. Now before you pull it through tight, just take your stitch marker out. You don't need it there anymore. All right, so you've pulled it through. Now you're going to go back into the other stitch. Oh, my needle's twisted. But down, not through the whole stitch. See these two loops of the stitch? You're going to go down and through the back of the stitch only. And all that's doing is it's forming your loop. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go back into the same back stitch that we worked in. Oh, let's try that again. Let's go back into that stitch that we first worked into. Pull that loop through again. And this time we're going to go through both loops of that stitch and giving it a tug like that. Then you are going to, you're going to hate this, you're going to come back through the back and find a spot anywhere in your stitch where you can pass your needle through to the back. It's a lot of mucking around, but it closes up and makes a neater close. So you're going to turn it over and you're going to find places to weave this end in, and you can do that anywhere you like. I'm thinking of going through to the back of the stitches. I'll see if I can show you. Through to the back of the stitches right here. Just making sure you can't see the needle from the front, and you can't. All right, so pull that through like so. back into the stitches there. Whoops, check your front. Sorry guys, I didn't check, but I know mine's all right. And just find some stitches to weave this end in. And that is all you're doing, because you need to weave it in. It may come undone in the wash if you don't weave this in. It's likely to come undone in the wash. So find some nice tight stitches, and they're pretty tight there. And then once you've done one way, you want to go back the other way, even though it looks like I've done it twice and 3 times. I'm going to do it again. Why? I'm a stickler. Okay, there you go. And that is the end of that end. Giving your thread a cut. You haven't finished yet, okay? But before you do finish, I should say, pop your work down and have a gorgeous look at your work. That little thread you see is that middle one, remember? Okay, and there you go. You may find that your ends might lift up a little bit, but you know what you're going to do? You're going to wash and block it, because that's exactly what I did with this one. And then when I say block it, you don't really need to have to fuss too much. You wash, you pin it down on a piece of towel. You pin it down on a towel in each point. Each point you see, you pin it down, and believe me, the day later you take it off and it's fine. What I did, and here's a little secret that I do, I pin it down around 4 o'clock in the afternoon. First thing in the morning, it's still not dry. I take it off the board, I turn it over, and I repin it down upside down. And then come back a day later and take it off the blocking mat, and it's gorgeous. Yes? Okay, so that's that. Now, before we go, guess what? Don't think this end will not come undone. It will. That will come undone in the wash. If you wash in the washing machine, if you are very gentle, it could still come undone, because a magic loop or a magic ring does not knot it, okay? Crochet, and like anything really, you need to have some sort of knot, and if you don't have a knot, then it's going to come undone. So you're going to weave that in just that little bit more. All right, well, I should say a little bit. This is where we are. We're going to go straight into that stitch right there. It's going to be a little bit tight, extra tight for me because I'm using the wrong needle. Never mind. A needle you needed for lace, always use a pointy needle for lace. It's no good for your hands because, you know, sometimes it slips and you end up with, you know, all sorts of nasty bleeding happening. It happens. But if you use these blunt needles, they're kind of no good. I'm really struggling to get that through the cotton. Cotton really needs sharp needles. Now, let's say you've gone through once and you're happy. No, you're not. We're going to go through the other way. So we're going back the other way. One more different area. Of course, I'm fighting this. Different area, of course, or different section. Make sure you can't see the needle from the front. Being careful. I'm not showing you that, but you know, you should know. That's, you know, given really. You want to check your front. I don't usually check. This one looks a bit deep for me, so I'm going to check. No, it's fine. Sometimes if it's really deep, it does come through and you don't want it to come through. You don't want your thread noticed in the front. I think that's plenty, but I will continue to go through. Let's check the front. Perfect. This is the last one. All right. And there you go. Give your work a cut that will no longer come out in the wash. All right. And there you go, guys. Ta-da! That is one doily done. Now let's talk about measurements so you know what you're doing. This is an 8 ply, which is a number 3 or a DK weight. This is a number 2 ply, which is a 0 or an extra fine thread, okay, extra fine cotton. You can use a 4 ply, which is a number 2, which will be right in the middle. So think about both these measurements when I tell you in a moment, and then think about making it in a 4 ply as well, and you can get your 3 different variations of the pattern in different sizes. How cool is that? All right, give me 1 second and we'll get our measuring tape out. All right, so let's measure the 8 ply, which is a relatively big one, okay? So that goes from one point of the little peak. Remember the peaks we made? From one point of the peak. Remember, this is not washed and blocked, this one. So that's about 12 inches or 31 centimetres. Now, if you're making it in that very fine cotton, you are getting from one point, this is washed and blocked by the way, let's find a point that we can get it from. One point to the other is 9 inches or, wait a minute, 9 inches or 23 centimeters, okay? Now, assuming you have one in between, just think of that as, I don't know, maybe 11 or a 10 inch kind of thing, okay? Or whatever that is in centimeters, 28 centimeters roughly. All right, so these are the sizes that you can make with your doilies. How gorgeous is that? Now, don't forget to wash and block your piece so that you can end up with this gorgeous flat version of your Mother's Day doily. Get excited, guys. You are now complete. Yay. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share and do all those wonderful things that you guys pretty much already do for me. And don't forget to enjoy your Mother's Day, and happy Mother's Day to all those mothers out there. And all I want to say right now is super gorgeous. Ciao for now.